And we're back! Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays City Skylines. We're about to hit our next milestone here at 3,900 people, which will unlock a whole host of stuff that I may not financially be able to deal with. Oh, it's 3,800, okay. So, a bunch of different roads, a hospital, an oil power plant, which we're not going to use, fire station, police headquarters. We didn't get enough money to buy any of those, unfortunately. So I think we're gonna save that for like when we get the $200,000 loan. Which again, if I could look at when can you take this? You need to reach 16,000 people, so we're a long way away from that, which is fine. But now we have 46,000. Let's take a look at first at our primary industries: power, water. We should do a new water thing before we spend any more money, just to ensure that we're fine here. We don't necessarily have to bulldoze a building. And if we can get away with it without bulldozing a building, I'd like to. That's going to set that straight. And this here, we didn't build anything in this area, thankfully. Is this connected? I think I might have just wasted a little bit of money there. We could probably bulldoze it and get some of it back. Alright, everything's good on water now. Correct? Took a little bit, and there we go. Okay. People upgrading their land. This is a good sign. We have to think of some way to handle the traffic. I've got it paused right now. Some way to handle the traffic that's going to be coming from here all the way over to here. If you live here, it's very easy. You just take this road into the industrial area, or you can take the roundabout around, which is a little bit more cumbersome, but still, you can stop off at the commercial area. It's not paused anymore. My mistake. Unfortunately, if you live here, you're pretty much SOL. So I'm almost thinking that we want to do like a raised road from here out to here. The problem with this, as we have found out, unfortunately, is that we have some power-related issues. Oh, by the way, do we have high-density residential? No, it's still 5,000. 5,500, okay. So we are going to need to build like a new residential area. I think the first thing I'm going to do is, for city planning purposes, I'm going to connect these like this. It's not going to look fantastic, let's just be honest here. And then, like this. And it will bulldoze that power line. Will this destroy everything? Seemingly no. Which I think on the bright side means that we can do like this. At the very least, we can do that. And this. We probably need to keep this alive for now. That also means we're going to do some relocation here. Yeah, so we're going to relocate our... Oh, don't bulldoze that. Pause on pause. Here we go. You can't relocate? You can't relocate it until it's empty. That probably makes sense when you're dealing with a landfill. Well, okay, what we're going to do then... Do I really want to make people drive all the way through... Like, if you were a person living in the city you wanted to leave, how would you do it right now? You're living over here. You would drive to the roundabout, drive out, drive out. If I bulldoze this road... I know it seems crazy. I think it's a good idea to bulldoze this road. Not all of it, obviously, but enough so that, you know, we just kind of have our garbage trucks here. I think it's a good idea. I'm not 100% convinced, admittedly. And the other thing I want to do is put like another roundabout here. Maybe this is our opportunity to also buy up this space. It's only $5,100. That's not too bad. And we need more industrial space, so maybe I should have expanded this way. But we can always build like a little bit more over there, or a little bit more densely in the Ryokan rectangle here. And we're definitely going to rename this shit the Wedge. There's just no question about that. How does it look zone-wise? I still think it's pretty smart. I think we can afford to zone some residential. Like right... At least on this side of the road, we can afford to zone some residential. Keep it away from the landfill, obviously. And let's try to throw a little, like, commercial here. Ah, not there. take the big brush and just get it out of the way. Like, I want to put commercial, like, maybe in the middle. But you know what? I should probably err on the side of caution, because traffic informs everything that happens in your city. It's probably in my best interest if I just don't F around with our roundabout here. So, what I was thinking is that we would build a bridge that goes over to this side here, so we have more space for residential. I know we have a lot of unused space over here, but I'm hesitant to, like, build too many intersections in here. Really, like, you can see how the foundations of this city are based, like, my philosophy is exactly based on, the problems that we've had with our previous cities, which predominantly is traffic related. I do think, if not a roundabout, we should just have like a small intersection that comes off here and zones this up as residential as well. But again, another number one priority is kind of just making a road that can connect you over here. So what if we just took like another 4-lane road? This is going to be expensive and it's going to make our city look like shit. I love it. So basically, this road's just going to come out like this. And we'll redesign our power lines if we have to. It's going to come out like this. Please work. In fact, it might even come out at a little bit of a diagonal, just to give us a slight bit more working room. This doubles as extra space for us. We're going to page up. Page down, page up. It's the fastest we can build it. Page up. Slope too steep. I should pause it so I can get more of a refund here. Like, I really don't want to completely fuck over this residential area. We're gonna build like a weird-ass bridge like this. This seems terrible. Is this even... It's not even going up at this point. Is it? I can't even... Okay, get down there. Look. Okay, it is going up a little bit. There we go. That's the smoothest we can build that. We're going to take it over. No, don't take it down. And take it over. What do you mean slope too steep? It's not sloping at all. I want... Yes, you almost had it there. I was impressed. I figured we'd have to bulldoze these houses. Oh, this is just beautiful right now. Not as expensive as I thought it would be. And there we go. Is this a good thing? Well, that's a very interesting question. I'm glad you asked. But now we have an easier way for residential traffic in this area to get over to the industrial area. Does it really save you that much? It saves you going literally around this roundabout. In hindsight, it really should have gone the other direction. And it looks like shit. Well, that's trademark Northernlion right there. On the bright side, the thing that, you know, kind of doubled as being useful here is that we can build, or at least zone, a lot of residential space. Which we will do. Up to and including the bridge here. Well, not including, sorry, but up to the bridge. So we don't have very much residential demand, but we'll lay the pipe nonetheless. I gotta tell you, like, my number one fear is that this freaking area ends up being, or this city ends up being worse than the city I was building before. That would just break my heart. We're having garbage problems. That means we probably need another landfill. Right now, like, we're getting pretty good access. I'll tell you what, we're not making a lot of money, but let's increase our budget temporarily. Not temporarily, probably. We'll increase our budget to 150% for garbage. And I hope that that solves our problem here. Because it looks like we should have pretty good coverage in the city. Maybe we just don't have enough trucks. Landfill's getting pretty close to being full, admittedly. That's not always a good sign. And by not always, I mean straight up never a good sign. And people want more industrial space, or industry wants more space. We are seeming like we're starting to have some problems with fire, admittedly. That happens to me a lot. Is our fire coverage okay? It's not very good in here, and the risk is higher because they're industrial buildings. But if we're going to put down a new fire station, we should probably put it down, like, over here. But that's not going to be my number one priority. My number one priority is going to be building a little bit more industrial space. which I think we can probably afford to build into the wedge here, but the question is, where should we build the intersection? Because I kind of bunged it a little bit. Why buy this space, though, if I'm not going to deal with it? But again, the bridge is going to be very expensive for us to build, and I already blew it on this terrible bridge right here. That fire truck should be able to handle that. I would be very displeased if it didn't. Residential demand is high, commercial demand reasonably high. Kind of want to keep it D-zoned on the way to work, but we can always put, like, more commercial area there. I'll tell you what, for now, I'm going to slot some more residential, or sorry, some more industrial area, like, right there. Might as well make the most use of the existing space as we can. I'll put some more here as well. There is commercial demand, but we can always, you know, maybe take this opportunity to D-zone, like, this area. Well, we'll D-zone, like, the whole thing. This little remaining piece here. And then we'll zone it for commercial. With a little bit of residential at the end. But we'll save the residential for the end until the commercial's done. Nobody's going to want to live there anyway. Districts are looking, you know, relatively normal. So to speak here. But probably need a new name. It's not really a Ryokan rectangle anymore. It's more of a, you know, Woolworth's wedge. Crime? Crime. Alright. Crime, crime, everywhere crime. I really love that song. It's about, like, you know, counterculture and, you know, hey, don't, you know, tread on me, man. But it's like, there's a point in that song where, you know, the guy, he saw a sign asking, you know, saying help wanted, which, whoa, in today's world, that seems crazy. But then he goes in, and he's got his hair tucked under his cap because the boss doesn't like hippies. And then he's like, you seem like a fine, upstanding young man, I think you do. Well, I took off my hat and said, imagine that. Me working for you. It's like, I mean, I don't really trust the business sense of this boss if he was seriously fooled by the guy putting a hat on. He was probably wearing like a tie-dye shirt. But you know, it's a good message though. Don't, you shouldn't judge people just based on their, you know, the culture they necessarily ascribe to. Huge residential demand right now. Which makes sense. Because we just built a bunch of industry. We're going to end up demolishing that factory. That pisses me off. Where are we going to build our newest residential area? Well, let's take a look at our traffic, if you don't mind. Admittedly, I should say, I was nervous for this. But I think that it's still pretty good, actually. Instead of building a new residential area, well, we need to build a new residential area. But we should get a bus service going now as well. Like, usually I like to get it done faster, but it's okay. I don't necessarily want to build the residential area over on this side of the road yet, because I'm nervous. Pretty good for power. I'm nervous about people taking too long to get to their jobs. So I think we end up building like a small subdivision somewhere off here. And you know what? I'm thinking maybe... I'd like to do 4-lane roads just to make sure traffic doesn't completely screw us. I'm thinking maybe we just throw it down in here. And these are going to be like... These are not going to be grids. They're going to be cul-de-sacs. And that annoys a lot of people. I didn't know anything about city planning before I started playing City Skylines. And I probably still don't. However, we can get away with some pretty... small pipes here, which is nice. But, however, I do think that this will work for us in this situation. Because the thing with grids is that I want to avoid traffic. And the more intersections you have, I think the more traffic we're going to end up having. But the truth be told, the more people we end up having living in our city, the more traffic we're going to have anyway, aren't we? So, you know, traffic isn't necessarily... Or people aren't the problem. Traffic's the problem. We're going to need something done about our garbage situation. We've enhanced our budget, but we're still running into problems. Probably an indication we need another landfill. I'm trying to see, like... Okay, amounts, we're going to look at the legend here. Low, high. Efficiency, low, high. It seems like our efficiency is really good. Our landfill's almost full. It's getting, like, it looks like it's getting to the whole city, but I'll tell you what, we'll throw one down in our industrial area, right next to the buildings that are having garbage-related issues. That's going to cost us some money, obviously, from industry, but hopefully that at least handles our industrial area, and by putting one fairly far away from our earlier one, this one might have a better chance to actually get to the residential area up here as well, and, you know, by working in tandem, they can have, like, a synergistic benefit. Not that many buildings burning down right now. I mean, that's not probably what you want to hear your mayor say, but it's a start. What I want to avoid is really the situation where you're just throwing down more landfills to deal with the problem. I would much rather have a situation where instead of just throwing down landfills, we're actually we're redesigning roads to be a little bit more efficient and stuff like that. Okay, I'm gonna pause it temporarily. We're gonna de-zone like all of this because our residential demand has fallen somewhat. And let's go with our small one there, and then we'll just build this one out as commercial because there's a little bit more commercial demand than I'm used to seeing. And we got a little bit of like mixed zone usage here coming through, which is pretty good. Remember, our main goal, well, I mean, apart from having a functioning city, is to get to 5,500 people. And when we get to 5,500 people, we'll be able to actually build an incinerator, a few other things. High density residential, which is really where our city's going to start to kick off a little bit. And just keep a close eye on power. Make sure we don't necessarily need to build another one right now. Is it just that you're in weird traffic situations? Like, is that where our problems lie here? I guess it would be annoying to have to get traffic from here. Although, to get garbage from here, although they just got it. Because they're on like the exit ramp and then have to go all the way around. And it'd be annoying here because you're on kind of the roundabout, but I don't know, it didn't seem too bad. I apologize for having to rotate the camera so much. I wish there was just like a center lock button. Maybe I'm missing it. This is pretty good now. Residential demand has grown again. And as suboptimal as it might seem, I'm thinking we pretty much just do exactly what we did before and kind of like, you know, build out like this a little bit. Yeah, those people are pretty pissed that I just build houses in their backyard, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, baby. There's still a little commercial demand, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. We're going to build this all out as residential first, but we're going to put some commercial, like, right here. Pretty soon, we'll be able to deal with residential demand without having to build new areas, just by changing existing low-density residential into high-density residential, which is going to be a little bit more, well, it comes with its own host of strengths and weaknesses. The strength is that we don't have to build new structures and infrastructure to deal with it, not always, anyway. The negative is that it's going to kick a lot of people out of our city and cause our population and potentially our income to fall temporarily, at least ideally, you're hoping that it's temporarily. Population's growing again. Take a quick look at fire. We have no fire coverage in like this part of our city. We should build a fire station. That pretty much covers it. It helps at least. Yeah, not everyone's getting equal benefit out of that, but I think that's a pretty good use of company resources here. Admittedly, we're still having some industrial fires. That's mostly because they're high risk, though. I mean, we should be able to deal with it, but let's see. Okay, do we have a fire truck en route here? Please tell me at least our fire truck knows how to deal with roundabouts. I believe it. I believe... Oh, what? They're coming around? Oh, that was a TV truck. There we go. The fire truck's there. We got it. All right. Took a little bit longer than I'd like to expect. How is the building doing? The info window shows you what is going on with the selected building. Find out how close to leveling up it is and what it requires by holding. Holding what? Holding this. Increase the value of the land to allow the building to be upgraded. Parks, plazas, and goods services. Improve the land value. Okay. We got relatively low demand citywide here. Service-wide, I guess I should say, which is actually a really nice position to be in when you're at a good, like, financial equilibrium. Low demand plus low income equals dying city, in my experience here. However, our city's growing relatively nicely. Doesn't have to grow super quickly, just has to grow sustainably. Let's take this rare opportunity to kind of look at our area here, and I'm going to draw, like, a new zone, I think. We can demolish the zone, I think. Like, erase district, that's what I mean. So let's erase this district right here. Take it off of the world map. And we'll watch our demand. It looks like we got more residential. I'm going to wait until we have a little bit more money, but I'm going to put it on speed 1 while we do this. Just so we don't miss out on something completely. So I'm going to create a new area. Which is going to be like here across. Including the bridge. And I don't have a great name for this one. Thornton Hills is pretty good. But I'm going to call this H-Top. Because that little residential in the area in the middle kind of looks like an H, and then it's got a top on it. Actually, you know what? Now that I look at it, I'm going to change the name again. I'm sorry, H-Top. This is going to be the bread district. Because it kind of looks like a slice of bread. We're also going to, oh, you still got garbage problems, huh? Well, we also have some undistricted area over here. I still think this can be bread. But then down here, this is going to be its own area. And this, Cooper Heights, you know, that seems like an okay name. I can deal with it for now. I'm happy with the bread district name, though. Okay, again, a huge demand for residential. I'm kind of skeptical about banking an intersection in this area, though. For what I hope are obvious, well, not obvious, but maybe intuitive reasons after you've watched a lot of Skylines. I wish you could make this, like, longer as well, because we've got, like, a huge amount of traffic merging onto this intersection. Because, obviously, it's going from 6-lane one-way to, like, 2-lane... Or, well, a roundabout. A two-lane roundabout. I mean, okay, we can do this without creating another intersection. So let's do that. And I know I said we were just going to demolish this road, but... we have demolished it. We'll build, like, another, kind of H district here. Do it like this. This road... I imagine is going to be like a traffic clusterfuck. But I don't really care if it's a traffic clusterfuck. I recognize I'm leaving a lot of open space too. That's something I have to work on. I don't really care if it's a traffic clusterfuck as long as it gets it, as long as it's handled, you know? If we can have more people living in this area, that's the most important thing for now. And then eventually, you know, public transit. That's probably what every city says. And eventually public transit, and then they're like, well, we forgot about that. Anyway, we're going to zone this somewhat carefully as residential, because we do want to avoid people living within smelling distance of the landfill, or, you know, people getting sick as a result of the landfill. There's a lot of landfill-related issues I want to avoid here. Now, we do need to be careful as well. I think that should handle it. Yeah, like, here's the circle around it, right? We do need to be careful as well. I don't want to zone anything on the off-ramp, because that's going to totally screw our traffic for things leaving the city. Admittedly, I don't really care about things leaving the city, except if you go to pick up garbage here, pretty much the only way out is to go around, which is why our garbage trucks, I think, are struggling a little bit with the garbage in this area. How do we deal with that? That's a fantastic question. Probably, this goes against my philosophy, but I'm going to build a road that goes like this. So our garbage trucks, before they leave the city, can turn onto this road and get out. Alright, it's all piped up. We're good. Population will grow here. We'll take down this burned down building. Lots of population growth right now. What concerns me is the fact that there's like there's garbage related issues in like many different parts of the city right now, and I don't know if that we can handle that with just a budgetary solution. We also have not built any public transit yet, which is just, you know, it seems like a very poor decision. And apart from that, it's actually going pretty well. Financially, we're fine. Population's growing relatively well. Once we get to 5,500, we don't need to build any more zones out like this yet, because we can just turn our existing zones from low density into high density. Oh god, the landfill's full. We need to put down another landfill, and we'll can't really empty it yet, so we'll just pop this one down like right here, right next to it. Some of these houses are not going to be thrilled. Whatever. It's got to be done, man. Once we get an incinerator, we'll pop it down, like, in the vicinity as well. Our garbage-related issues are only going to get worse until they get better, at which point they will get worse. That's my experience with garbage in City Skylines so far. It ebbs and it flows, but there's a constant positive trend, even if it's not particularly a strong positive trend. Always. Buy new land. You know what? I think I'm all right on land right now. I appreciate the tip. You probably know better than I do, admittedly. I'm amazed that our traffic is not completely fucked. I'm very happy about it, I've got to admit, but like my philosophy is to some extent actually working out here, except that probably should be a large roundabout at the start, but that's gated when you first begin, which I think kind of inhibits the ability to plan a little bit, but so be it. A little bit of commercial demand now. Well, that's a good question. What are we going to do about that commercial demand? We got some D-zoned areas still. I think we could afford to zone this up appropriately. Just give them a little bit of space, keep demand somewhat high, I guess. There we go. Is there power connection between... Yeah, that'll bleed over. That's fine. Just give them a little bit. Keep them guessing. Not guessing, but keep them hungry for more developments, you know? Oh, yes, water. That is kind of the lifeblood of our, species, isn't it? We'll build it down like this. It's expensive, but it'll make sure this whole area is done if we ever need to do something about it. Industry's complaining, and a couple of businesses have gone under here. What's the problem? What seems to be the issue? A building is burned down. This might seem crazy, but it's a surprising lack of fires relative, or not lack, but dearth of fires relative to how some of my cities have worked before in the past. And again, we're pretty much at maximum residential saturation here, which is probably not a real industry term, but it damn well should be. I'm trying to, like, it's like being on a jetpack. Now, I've never ridden a jetpack or driven or flown a jetpack, depending on what verb you want to use. But I imagine you don't want to smash into the ground, or whatever your destination is, at like, 100 meters per second and blow out your knees. It want to be a controlled ascent and a controlled descent. That's what we're doing right now. This population growth is intended to be a controlled ascent. When we get to 5,500, then we can start rezoning into apartment buildings and, shared units, basically, instead of just family homes. And as a result, our population will grow up instead of out. And hopefully, what do we need again in order to get the next loan? Is it 16,000? 16,000. We can always take our $20,000 loan, but it's not actually necessary yet. So I'd rather save it, I'd rather take a loan to get me out of a terrible situation rather than just take a loan to take a loan. Take a loan now, Annie. Take a loan for a fee. Take a loan now, Annie. And pay the loan, pay the loan, pay the loan right to me. I need to find a way to get another 100 people into this city. I hate to do this. We're gonna just, the bread district is gonna get a little cinnamon swirl here, and that should give me enough. But it's a bit of a crapshoot because we, bulldozed like 4 houses to do it in the first place. Everybody's playing City Skylines, man. I have to admit that because I'm not a guy who really knows city builders and even just strategy games in general to some extent, when I was playing it, I was like, I'm having a lot of fun. I hope that I don't look like an idiot when it comes out and everybody hates it and says, no, Northernlion, you don't know what you're doing. I'm not saying I'm vindicated. I'm just saying I'm happy that people have been playing it and going like, oh, this shit is actually like really good. Okay, we've reached 5,500. So we can do new policies, obviously. We need an incineration plant for sure. Let's pause temporarily while we think about this. But we can also rezone some areas, which is extremely important. First step, as always, power. Yes, we do need another power station. I love this. Doesn't take up land. And is green energy, so the kids, it's great for the kids and the breathing and all those things. We need an incineration facility. People are gonna hate that, man. You build like a small ass like service road out here to deal with it? That's a great question. I need to like restrict this road though. Like the road I'm building, I need to be able to be like, you can't come here. This is for garbage only. But not human garbage. This can be our garbage district as far as I can tell. And that's actually relatively good, all things considered. All right, we'll pop that down. And then that is going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. We're going to start rezoning on the next episode, which should be exciting. We'll lose a lot of people, and then it should, you know, build back up in a big way. For now, though, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode so far. If you do, I'd really appreciate you showing your support. Click the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.